My hair kind of looks ombre. Quite cool. I actually had it completely bright red, but it's like faded into this ombre, which is quite nice. Anyways, today I want to talk to you about my journaling ecosystem because I have quite a lot. And I don't really know how to start, but I love writing and I love reading more than I love anything else, but writing is still something that I hold very dear to my heart, and I've been writing since I learned how to write. So this is kind of how I keep all of my mental thoughts and feelings into more organized, or attempt to organize my thoughts. I guess I'm going to start with these two. They actually are the same thing. So this is kind of my diary, I suppose. Journal. I think journal is more like you set intentions for what you're writing, whereas a diary is more of just your thoughts and feelings, and you kind of pick it up whenever you want to. And that is this, well, now it's this book, but I just finished this diary. I write the start date at the start of every single diary, and then the end date when I finish it, and then right underneath I have the age of when I was when I started it. So from 19 to 20. It actually says I started in February, but I didn't properly start writing it because I was in first year at uni, and it was just very, very overwhelming, and a lot has going on, so I really didn't have time to write. So I only started writing in like properly into it since June. But obviously I didn't actually start in June, so I put it in February. Anyways, there are loads of gaps randomly throughout this journal. I kind of just, as I explained, I kind of just keep it as a dump of my thoughts, of my feelings. Hold on. Of my thoughts and my feelings, and if anything goes wrong in my life, or there is a particular event that I want to write about, or if, I just feel a compulsive urge to write something down, I write it in here. This is honestly my mind and my memory all into paper. Like without this I just don't know who I am. And I've had like all of these notebooks that I'm going to show have been like more recent endeavors and attempts to kind of branch out my writing, but this has been here and just in my life forever, since I don't know, I want to say like my early teenage years, perhaps some entries before, but those are mostly written on just random pieces of paper that I've somehow collected. So yeah, I've just finished this one, and it actually feels like the end of an era. That is so dramatic, but it's like it's just how I feel. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this book I kind of just keep as something that is always with me, no matter where I'm going. If I have a bag with me, this is in it. So I've just finished this one, and it really does feel like the end of an era. And I know a lot of people don't really read their diaries back or journals, which I completely understand. Some of these entries are very, very difficult to read. Turns out I'm quite a difficult person. But I do read them back. I can't not. I think I learn so much more about myself when I read back what I've written. So once I finish writing an entry, I first of all I sign it off with a little love heart at the end, but I reread the entry I just wrote, but I won't go back and reread any of it until I finished all of it, if that makes sense. So I haven't read this since February. I've just kept it festering, and yesterday I finished it and I got the opportunity to read it all back, and it's really, I don't know, it's hard, but it's honestly, it feels great. I don't know, I can do a lot of reflection on it, I guess, when I finished it, and just see how I'm able to hold myself accountable and see how I felt in certain moments. And it's so odd to read passages back because obviously, like, I know what happened. Like, I'll write about like something that I got given back or whatever, and me as present tense, like living it now, I know how that situation ended up being because like months later it then worked out or whatever, so yeah, it's really cool. But I finished that, so that's just gonna go somewhere in my room, and I'm gonna start a new one. Look at it. it's just stunning. My mum got it for me last year for my birthday, and it has this wraparound thing, and it's leather, and it's just like, I honestly get so turned on by notebooks. Like, I just love them. Like, I think it's real leather. I don't know if it's real leather or not. I hope not. But it is stunning. It has these, like, I can't even show you. It looks really like rough and ragged and kind of worn in, which I'm loving. The paper is really white. Okay, so this is something that is going to sound so odd, but when paper is like stark white, I find it really jarring to write on. I think that might be just a me problem, and it could just all be in my head. But if something is completely stark white, it's like hospitalized, you know what I mean? It's not welcoming me onto the page. It's not making me want to write on it because something about it is off. But this yellow kind of creamy, slightly off-white paper, it's like a candlelight, you know? It's like a candlelight in the corner of my room, and it's floppy, and I just really like it. The paper's really smooth. Yeah, I haven't started it. I also have no idea where, like, in this journal I've obviously written when I started it, but this one is leather, and I don't think you can write on the leather. I mean, you know what, I could give it a crack, or maybe I could glue a piece of paper on it and write the dates instead, but I'm gonna start this one soon. I'm very excited for it. And on another random note, this one's quite a thick notebook. Like, this is, I'm gonna wrap it up as I talk. This is a thick notebook, probably the thickest I've had for like journaling or just kind of like my diary. So this will probably be a while before I finish it or reread it or anything, but recently I've been feeling a very dire need to write, so I shall never know. But it's so gorge. And yeah, so these two are just my diaries. There's my personal thoughts, what I like about them, just, yeah, I don't know what to go with next. I only have 2 more, so actually I don't really have as much as I thought I would, but I'll go with this one. This one, first of all, has a lovely pen holder. Fun fact about me, I write with the same pen. I have written with the same make of pen since I was like in year 10. And that is this one. I don't even know the name of it, but this is what it looks like. And I can't find them in stores. I have to buy it off Amazon. And I bulk bought them because I love them. They are so smooth on the page. I don't know, this is like my pen, and I also don't replace this pen until this particular one has been finished, so I use it for everything. But for this notebook, I have this pen, which it's a pretty popular pen. I mean, everybody knows of it. It's just a popular ink pen. But this I use for this notebook because this is a very specific notebook. This notebook is my book reviews. I am a big reader. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I read a lot of books a year. I process a lot of books. I study English literature, so I am constantly reading new things, new articles, new books, just everything. I'm constantly reading, and I will do a proper book video soon because that's really the passion. But I thought this would be a great introduction. But after every single book that I read, I write not necessarily like a review, but kind of just thoughts I have about the book. It's very like, it's not like proper anything, it's very informal, and it's written like bullet points. So say for example like that, like that's the latest book, so I write the author, no, I write the title of the book and then I outline it, and then by the side I have the author. And if I happen to finish the book the same day I want to write about it, I'll write the date in the corner. But this one I wrote a few days after because I think I just became really busy, so I don't always have time. But normally I try to write my thoughts down about the book as soon as I finish the book, when it's like fresh in my head. And in here I kind of just write a bit of everything. I write down what I think about the book, I write down any experiences I had whilst reading the book, I write down if someone recommended it to me, I'll write down who recommended it to me. If there's certain quotes that really stuck out to me, I'll write them down. Some entries can last like up to 10 pages and others barely even have a page. It really does vary. But this has been a recent thing. I only started this in, oh, it doesn't have a date, but October is the next one after the first entry. So I started this in October last year, and this year it's currently June. So not too long ago. So obviously there are a lot of books that I've read that haven't been documented on and that I haven't written about, but I obviously would love to read loads. So when I reread it, then I'll write it in here. I guess the reason that I started keeping this as a kind of just a sole book notebook / journal is because I don't know, I think a lot about books. I'm constantly thinking about books and books that I've read and things that I'm reading. And obviously because I study English literature throughout different lectures, as they progress, I kind of think of new questions to ask and to think about whilst reading books. And I wanted to just track it to see how my thought process is. And also I am definitely afraid of like forgetting everything I've read, forgetting just my life. And so I hopefully when I read this back, as well as like my other journals, I date everything, so it'll be amazing to look back on and see what my first initial thoughts of something were. And because a lot of the books in here and the ones I've read before I want to reread, I'm really excited to see, well, if something has changed from then till now. So yeah, I think it'll be really interesting. So this is that book, and this pen is only for this book. Don't ask me why, but that's just the way it is. Everything else is this pen. That's so like niche, like that's so dorky. Like who had, actually I reckon a lot of people have favorite pens. So yeah, this leads me on to my last two notebooks, which needs a little bit of context. So I just finished second year, I'm about to go into third year, and this year, the year that I just finished, I audited a class called Early Modern Bodies in Renaissance literature, and I loved it so much. The lecturer was so passionate about it. It was obviously something that he's, you know, been into and studied for like years and loves it. So I felt really, I don't know, I felt really invested in this lecture that I wasn't enrolled in because I just audited it, and my friend somehow asked him if I could go to the seminars and stuff. So I was lucky enough to go to a couple of seminars and actually see and discuss what people had read about the text each week. But what he did at the start of like the very first lecture was that he introduced the idea of a commonplace notebook for the specific module. And if you don't know, commonplace notebooking was very popular during the Renaissance. It's basically just a notebook, or even just a couple of pages, whatever, dedicated to everything. Things that you read, things you come across, things you're thinking. You can scrapbook in it if you want. It's a commonplace notebook is just something where you dump. It's like a mind dump. But obviously he wanted us to commonplace the actual lecture, like Early Modern Bodies, the actual module. Which makes sense. So you can have commonplace notebooks for a particular topic. So you can be like, I'm going to have this notebook for, I don't know, Frankenstein, which is what I'm currently reading. So you can have a commonplace for that, which is only dedicated to that specific research and reading. But it's mainly used for kind of just everything as a dump. And he actually brought in loads and loads of notebooks for everyone to pick one out and complete it across the module, which is so lovely of him. No other lecturer has ever done that. And at the end of like the term, at the end of the module, he was going to ask for them back if you wanted to, and to show him and take him through your process of commonplacing and how you've been thinking and feeling about these texts alongside learning it. And he picked, at the end of the thing, he would pick 5 people to go to the theatre with and buy tickets for, which I just think is a wonderful idea. I just think that's so lovely. I really do love passionate lecturers like that. You don't get very many, so that was just really wonderful. And I obviously audited the lecture, so I'm not actually part of the module, so I kind of just let everyone else take their books first, and then there was some left over, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it too. So I still went, and this is like my own drawing that I've drawn on the front of it, but I've kind of just used it as my own personal space to kind of adapt my own thinking on the module. But because I'm not on the module, have I mentioned that? Because I'm not on the module, I kind of just took it as things that I'm inspired by from the module. So I haven't limited myself just to Renaissance texts. I've limited myself to bodily functions, and like, rather than early modern bodies, just kind of bodies in literature in general, and branched it out that way, as a way to just, you know, continue my thinking, broaden my thinking. And it's been really fun. I'm going to show you a couple of pages. So I've drawn, you can illustrate it if you want, so I've drawn a couple of pages that I haven't yet filled out, but I have loads of information to fill out. So I'm going to show you a couple because they're really fun, and I'm really quite proud of it. Okay, so this one I really like. I'm not an artist, okay, I'm not an artist, but I can see a painting and try to copy it. So this one I kind of want to do on addiction and the impact of addiction on your body and kind of how it works, which is interesting. This one's really cool. I'm really interested in voyeurism and the act of looking at something. So I kind of did a tree branch with multiple eyes peeking, and then obviously I'm going to write in between the cracks and fill it, which is very fun. The impact of the weather and the astrological, you know, signs and symbolism, and how that impacts your mood, because it, I don't know, I used to be one of those people that was like, astrology isn't real, like star signs, whatever, like no one cares. But now I'm more inclined, after studying a lot of medieval and Middle English texts as well as the Renaissance, to kind of be interested in like the natural imageries of the world, and astrological studies are obviously part of that. So I'm not fully convinced, but I'm open-minded to learning more about that. Also kind of relevant, the fear of forgetting, dementia. And for this particular page, I want to focus on Bryony in Atonement by Ian McEwan. If anyone's read that, God, her character is so frustrating, but she kind of ruins everyone's life, and then at the end of it gets to forget everything that she's done. And yeah, I kind of just want to do a whole page dedicated to that specifically. But yeah, that's kind of just the main ones. I also really like this one, which is like, okay, let's try that again. My mum just called me and cut off the video, but I was on this one. And this one I want to do on covering up the body, covering up the face through. Gosh, she called me back again. Anyways, I can't remember what I was saying, but yeah, just the act of covering up your face and your body. But that was a whole tangent. Anyways, that was when I was introduced back into commonplacing, and now I just have a notebook for my own commonplacing, and this is really just everything creative and everything fun. So on the first page I have like journaling prompts and questions. The early modern bodies module that I audited, I finished the module, and I kind of I've just summed up interesting things that I've learned throughout the thing, and then my own thoughts and ideas and things that sprung up. Oh, my dissertation, which I'm going to do in third year. I've kind of dumped some thoughts and texts and ideas that I have. I have a list of films that I love, books that I love, things I want to watch. I have some content ideas that I want to do. I have a big, I'm not going to show it, but I have a big summer to-do list of things that I want to accomplish and do. I watch a lot of video essays, which I love, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite the sucker for. And some of them are really good that I rewatch them so that I can take notes of the video essay and just things that I find interesting. Like this one was The Complicated History of Palm Reading. Like that just popped up on my, you know, explore page, and I of course had to write it down. There's also one on like Kill Bill and the anthology of it. Anyway, yeah, creative story that I'm writing, and yeah, this is just a commonplace creative notebook where I kind of just write whatever I want. To sum it up, I just write whatever I want. If I watch any video essays that I like, if I feel like writing about a particular topic that I have nowhere else to write, I write it in this book. If I need to create a list for something, I write it in this book. At the back of this book is actually just post-it notes of my to-do list, and then once I've ticked off that to-do list, I'll just add it to the back of the book. So that's just a random little touch, but that was a whole tangent of this notebook. But it's, yeah, it's basically just my thoughts, my feelings, my creativity I add in this book. And yeah, that's pretty much my notebook, my journaling notebook rotation. I hope you enjoyed. I really like long form content. I have an Instagram. I'll put it in the bio if I can figure out how to do that. And I really like posting on there, and I update on there quite a lot. But I love long form content. I'm a sucker for long-term content. I just think it's so much nicer and less stimulating for my, not like, it's less overstimulating for my brain. And I found some amazing people on there, so that's a plus. But I really love long-form content. Hence I also keep a lot of journals for a lot of things, because my mind is constantly processing, asking questions, reflecting, and trying to kind of figure life out as a 20-year-old. So yeah, I have a lot more ideas to come, but I will probably ask on Instagram different things that people would want to see. I really want to do a video on my shelves. I just got up there, you can see, and I also store books like all the way across that wall, just like stacks and random ones miscellaneously around my room. But I really want to do a bookshelf tour. I feel like that would be really fun. And this is actually the first time I've had bookshelves in a really long time, because I just used to have them stacked, but now I simply have too many books. I mean, that's just my nightstand table. Okay, those are just like stacks, but that one there is like my current TBR. I'll probably do a video on that. Anyways, I have a lot of ideas, and I'm kind of like bursting with ideas, and I want to start posting a lot more regularly. And I have found this process actually so much nicer, and I can formulate, you know, my thoughts and feelings a lot more clearer, with a lot less pressure that time is gonna run out. So yeah, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.